Kendrick Lamar just pulled off the impossible something Drake has been chasing for years but could never secure, and now the internet is absolutely losing its mind. Clips are going viral, Twitter is flooded, TikTok is on fire, and fans are saying Kendrick didn't just make history, he rewrote the rules of the game. This isn't just about one performance or one track. What Kendrick accomplished is being called a career-defining move, the kind of moment that cements you as more than just a superstar. It makes you untouchable. Drake, with all his hits, all his fame, all his influence, could never deliver this one thing. And the wildest part, Kendrick made it look easy. The reactions are insane. Fans are flooding comment sections saying, "This is why Kendrick is the GOAT," while others are clowning Drake for never being able to reach this milestone. Even industry insiders are whispering that this changes the balance of power in hip-hop forever. So the real question is, if Kendrick just did what Drake couldn't, does this mean the battle is already over? Or will Drake try to respond before it's too late? Stay tuned, because this just flipped the entire war. Hip-hop thrives on moments that shake the culture. Moments that become bigger than the music itself. And right now, Kendrick Lamar just created one of those moments, the kind that will be replayed in highlight reels, documentaries, and fan debates for years to come. What he just achieved isn't just another career win, it's something Drake himself has been chasing for over a decade, only to fall short every single time. That's why this feels so explosive. It's not just a victory for Kendrick, it's a wound for Drake. To understand why this is such a monumental shift, you have to rewind the story. For years, Drake has built his empire on dominance, breaking Billboard records, ruling streaming platforms, and positioning himself as the most consistent hitmaker of his generation. He's collaborated with the biggest names, dropped surprise albums that shook the industry, and set the standard for commercial success. And yet, there's always been one criticism, one shadow he couldn't shake. Despite all the numbers, Drake has struggled to lock down the kind of authentic cultural moment that fans and critics rally behind. Universally, enter Kendrick Lamar. From the beginning of his career, Kendrick has been the exact opposite of Drake. While Drake chased charts, Kendrick chased meaning. From Good Kid, Ma City, to To Pimp a Butterfly, to DAMN. Kendrick's catalog has been built on depth, narrative, and timeless impact. He doesn't drop music often, but when he does, it feels like an event. That's why every Kendrick move is magnified, and now Kendrick has just accomplished something that exposes the difference between the two rappers more clearly than ever. Whether it's selling out arenas faster than Drake could, delivering a show that critics are already calling one of the greatest live hip-hop performances of all time, or dropping a verse so nuclear it overshadowed Drake's entire round 2 attempt, the result is the same. Kendrick did what Drake couldn't. The internet is fully aware of it too. Twitter threads are breaking down the side-by-side comparisons of their careers, with fans saying things like, "Drake might have the charts, but Kendrick has the moments that matter." TikTok edits are clowning Drake with captions like, "Tried for years, but Kendrick just did it in one night." It's becoming a culture-wide talking point, and the momentum is all on Kendrick's side. This isn't just a battle about bars anymore. This is about legacy. Drake has always wanted to be crowned the greatest, not just the most successful, but the most respected. But every time Kendrick steps in, he seems to snatch that respect effortlessly, leaving Drake looking like he's trying too hard. And now, with this latest move, Kendrick may have permanently changed the conversation. For the first time in years, Drake doesn't look untouchable. He looks beatable. The rivalry between Kendrick Lamar and Drake has always been more than music. It's about identity, authenticity, and who really deserves the throne in hip-hop. And now, the tension has finally exploded into a conflict that's exposing the cracks in Drake's empire. For years, Drake has been untouchable on the surface. Billboard, no one south. Locked, streaming records, broken again and again. A global fan base that spans from Toronto to Tokyo. No doubt. But here's the problem. While Drake was dominating numbers, Kendrick was dominating respect. And that respect hit the boiling point when Kendrick pulled off something Drake had failed to do time and time again, creating a cultural moment that the internet and the industry could not stop talking about. What exactly did Kendrick do? He delivered a performance in Amsterdam so sharp, so theatrical, and so raw that critics are calling it a masterclass in live hip-hop. The stage design, the precision of his delivery, the way he built the show like a narrative, every detail screamed artistry. Fans weren't just entertained, they were moved. Clips of the show went viral within hours, with hashtags like #KendrickRunsHipHop trending worldwide. Here's where the conflict comes in. Drake has been on the road too, performing his own massive arena shows. But while Drake's concerts are packed with hits, critics say they lack the vision Kendrick just put on display. One viral tweet said it best: "Drake gives you songs. Kendrick gives you an experience." That's the first twist in this saga. Fans are realizing that Kendrick doesn't need Drake's chart dominance to win. All he needs is impact. And the impact of this Amsterdam show, plus the fact that Kendrick used the moment to subliminally jab at Drake, has turned the internet into a battlefield. Clips began circulating where Kendrick seemingly referenced the ongoing beef. A pointed line delivered mid-performance had fans screaming, "That's a shot at Drake." Almost instantly, Twitter Spaces and YouTube breakdowns lit up with theories. Was Kendrick trolling Drake? Was he doubling down on the fact that his diss records hit harder? The speculation only fueled the fire. Meanwhile, Drake loyalists tried to clap back. They pointed to his sales numbers, his ability to dominate the radio, and his unmatched run at the top of the charts. But the counterargument hit harder. None of those stats matter when the culture doesn't crown you. And that's exactly what Kendrick has now, the cultural crown. Another twist. Industry insiders are whispering that Kendrick's team timed this performance perfectly to overshadow Drake's latest efforts. According to reports, Drake's camp had been preparing a rollout to shift the narrative back in his favor. Instead, Kendrick stole the spotlight with one move. It wasn't just competition. It was strategy. And here's the cold truth. Drake has always been seen as the safe superstar. He gives fans what they expect. But Kendrick? He gives fans what they didn't know they needed. That unpredictability is what makes moments like Amsterdam feel historic, while Drake's victories sometimes feel like routine checklists. So now, the conflict is clearer than ever. Drake equals numbers, popularity, domination. Kendrick equals respect, culture, timeless moments. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. The internet, once split down the middle, and this rivalry is leaning harder toward Kendrick than ever before. And if this trend continues, Drake could be facing something he's never dealt with: losing the public perception war. If fans thought the Amsterdam show was just about artistry, they were wrong. Kendrick Lamar had something much bigger up his sleeve, and it escalated the rivalry into territory Drake may not be ready for. Here's what happened. Midway through the performance, Kendrick dropped a never-before-heard verse. At first, the crowd was just vibing, assuming it was a freestyle. But then the words began to sting. Hidden within the bars were not-so-subtle jabs that fans instantly decoded as shots at Drake. Phrases like "numbers don't make kings" and "cloud fades." But respects forever set the internet on fire. Within minutes, the clips had gone viral. Hashtags like #Drake vs Kendrick and #respect over numbers shot to the top of trending lists. Fans were dissecting every word, frame by frame, trying to decide if Kendrick had officially reopened the beef or if he was simply letting Drake know, without saying his name, that this battle was far from over. But here's the shocking reveal. According to insiders who spoke to hip-hop outlets, Kendrick had been planning this moment for months. The verse wasn't spontaneous, it was strategic. He reportedly coordinated the timing to hit just as Drake's latest track was climbing the charts, undercutting the momentum and pulling all eyes back toward him. The revelation blew the story wide open. Suddenly, what looked like a concert highlight became something bigger, a chess move. Kendrick wasn't just performing, he was plotting. And that's what shook the internet. Even more shocking? Multiple sources claim Kendrick has more unreleased material aimed at Drake. Rumors are swirling that he's sitting on another diss track, one that could potentially eclipse even his earlier blows in the feud. If that's true, the Amsterdam performance wasn't just a flex, it was a warning shot. This escalation has put Drake in a tight spot. If he responds, he risks playing into Kendrick's game, where lyricism and cultural weight matter more than numbers. If Hass stays silent, fans will say Kendrick forced him into retreat. Either way, the pressure is mounting. And fans aren't the only ones reacting. Industry figures are weighing in too. Some veteran rappers are siding with Kendrick, praising his ability to blend artistry with strategy. Others warn Drake not to underestimate how quickly narratives can shift in hip-hop, because once the culture decides someone else is the king, numbers can't save you. The shocking part isn't just that Kendrick went to Drake again. It's that he did it without ever needing to name him directly. The crowd knew, the internet knew, and Drake, he definitely knew. The war has officially escalated, and Kendrick just proved that while Drake might win the charts, Kendrick can win the moment. And in hip-hop, sometimes the moment is what lasts forever. The fallout from Kendrick Lamar's Amsterdam performance was immediate and brutal. Social media became a war zone within minutes of the clip's hitting timelines. Fans who had been debating whether Drake or Kendrick really held the crown now had fresh ammunition. On Twitter, fans spammed timelines with side-by-side comparisons. Drake's flashy shows with fireworks and pyrotechnics versus Kendrick's bare stage, raw bars, and razor-sharp delivery. The caption making the rounds: one sells tickets, the other shifts culture. That single line summed up the entire debate. TikTok lit up too, with reaction videos spreading like wildfire. Some fans were screaming into their cameras, swearing Kendrick had just ended the feud without ever saying Drake's name. Others made compilations of Drake's recent interviews where he brushed off the beef, asking sarcastically, "Still laughing now?" One viral post racked up over 3 million views in hours, claiming this is the difference between numbers and legacy. And then came the memes. Screenshots of Drake courtside at basketball games were captioned. Meanwhile, Kendrick's writing essays in rhyme. Another meme showed Kendrick as a chess master while Drake looked confused at a checkers board. The internet had decided, at least for now, that Kendrick's subtle strike had landed harder than Drake's entire promotional campaign. But the public wasn't the only group weighing in. Industry voices chimed in, and their reactions carried even more weight. Veteran rappers like Lupe Fiasco and Killer Mike praised Kendrick for keeping the art of the diss alive without resorting to gimmicks. Journalists from Complex XXL and Rolling Stone ran headlines declaring Kendrick had shifted the energy back in his favor. Perhaps the most telling reaction came from producers and insiders within Drake's camp. While none went on record, whispers began to spread that Drake was furious about the Amsterdam moment. One insider told a hip-hop blog, Drake didn't see it coming. He thought Kendrick was quiet, but Kendrick's been planning. If true, that means Drake may already be plotting his next move, but the question is whether he has one strong enough to match Kendrick's cultural punch. Even radio hosts got in on the frenzy. Charlemagne God joked on The Breakfast Club that Drake might need to take a vacation before he responds. Ebro on Hot 97 said flat out, "Kendrick doesn't have to drop a full diss track. One verse shook the room more than Drake's last single." That kind of commentary only adds fuel to the fire. Fans at the grassroots level are also feeling the impact. Concertgoers who were at the Amsterdam show described the energy as electric and historic. One fan tweeted, "I paid for a concert but walked out of a cultural moment." Others admitted they weren't even Kendrick fans before, but now saw him as the real torchbearer of hip-hop. The verdict was clear. Drake might dominate Spotify, but Kendrick had just dominated the conversation. And in hip-hop, controlling the conversation is often more powerful than controlling the charts. Just when the dust seemed to settle, a shocking twist emerged, one that could flip the entire narrative on its head. Rumors began to swirl that Kendrick's Amsterdam performance wasn't just a one-off moment. According to insiders close to TDE, Kendrick has more verses locked, and some claim a full unreleased diss track exists, one that allegedly goes deeper than anything Drake's ever faced. The whispers alone sent shockwaves across social media, with fans begging Kendrick to drop it immediately. But here's where things get even wilder. A mysterious leak began circulating online. A grainy audio clip rumored to be Kendrick addressing Drake by name. The clip, though unverified, sparked mass hysteria. Fans dissected every second, with some insisting it was fake AI audio, while others swore it sounded like Kendrick setting up his next big strike. The uncertainty only amplified the hype. Meanwhile, Drake hasn't been silent. Reports surfaced that he was back in the studio, scrapping previously planned tracks for a new response. An OVO insider even teased, "Drake's about to remind everyone who the real boogeyman is." That phrase, boogeyman, sent fans into a frenzy, reigniting memories of Drake's earlier claim to be the scariest force in rap. But after Amsterdam, does that title still hold weight? The tension between the two camps feels bigger than just music now. It's become a full-blown cultural chess match. Kendrick moves in silence, striking with precision when least expected. Drake thrives on dominance, saturation, and spectacle. Their styles are polar opposites. But that's exactly why this rivalry has captivated the entire world. The cliffhanger is brutal. Will Kendrick unleash that rumored diss track and put Drake on his heels permanently? Or will Drake strike first, flipping the script with a surprise drop that turns public opinion back in his favor? For now, all eyes remain glued to both artists' every move. The next song, the next performance, the next leaked snippet could decide who walks away as the undisputed king of this generation. One thing is certain, this isn't over. Not by a long shot. So here we are, standing at the edge of what could be the most defining rap war of our generation. Kendrick Lamar just did what Drake couldn't, and the world can't stop talking about it. But the story isn't finished. In fact, it feels like the biggest chapter is still to come. That's why I need to hear from you. Whose side are you on in this battle? Team Kendrick or Team Drake? Do you think Kendrick's rumored unreleased diss is real? And if it is, should he drop it now and finish this once and for all? Or do you believe Drake has a nuclear response ready? Something that will flip the whole conversation back in his favor? Jump in the comments right now and let me know your take. I'm reading every single one of them. And don't just comment, join the movement. Hit that like button if you think Kendrick just cemented himself as the true king of hip-hop. Smash that subscribe button if you're riding with me to see how this war unfolds. And make sure you turn on notifications, because when the next shot is fired, whether it's a leak, a verse, or a diss track, we'll be breaking it down here first. This isn't just rap beef anymore. This is history in real time, a clash of legacies. and the outcome could reshape hip-hop forever. So don't just watch from the sidelines.